Good evening and welcome to From the 80s View. I'm your host, Dr. Cedric Brown. And today's guest is a young man that is aspiring to be an actor on stage and on the big screen. Let's welcome to the show Mr. Jeremiah Catoe.
How y'all
Jeremiah,
doing?
how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Really quick, if I say to you P. Diddy, what are a couple words that come to mind?
Shocking.
Shocking, right?
Mhm.
Comedians are a big part of our culture. What do you think about the comedians in our society and in our culture today?
Unafraid.
Unafraid. I like that. And then last but not least, we have one of the all-time greatest actors in our community, Denzel Washington. What do you think about Denzel?
Amazing.
Amazing, amazing. These topics and more on From the 80s View. Let's get it. Welcome back. And before Jeremiah and I get started, as I do every week, I want to give honor to God who's the head of my life and thank him for the things that he's done, because without him in my life, I would not have the ability to do the things that I do. I wouldn't have the ability to be a professional that I am. I wouldn't have the ability to have this, this platform that I have. And he's done that for me. And I just want to give him honor and thank him for my beautiful wife, my children, the career that I have, and an opportunity to meet young people like Jeremiah Catoe. That Jeremiah, you are an outstanding young man, just a recent graduate from Towson University. You majored in acting, that theater type of discipline, and your aspirations are what? What do you aspire to do with what you've learned over your years of study?
Well, for one, I want to be in Hollywood. It's been my dream to be a Hollywood star ever since I was in eighth grade. That's when I first knew that I wanted to act. I want to own my own movie studio. I want to go out to LA, and I'm planning to go out soon. Um, I want to make music. I'm also a rapper, and I
Sure,
want to start streaming. So, biggest thing is I'm trying to be a celebrity. That's the biggest thing.
sure. And and when people say that, right, you'll have people that will inspire you, that will lift you up. You'll have people that will, try to second guess what you want to do. How do you handle the supporters and the haters at the same time, Jeremiah?
That's a really good question. I handle the supporters just as if anyone else is giving me compliments. Try not to get too much into the praise, because if you try to take too much praise, you start to get a little over ahead of yourself, start to get an ego. But I
Hmm.
just thankful and that know that people are there to support me and there to help me. And as long as the people who second guess me, I know that for most people that second guess me, I don't think as they weren't believing in me, but they were trying to give me a reality check. I mean,
Sure.
I don't understand all of their motives, but I know for some of my family, they were giving me second guesses and stuff. It's like, hey, this is a hard thing to go. This is a hard thing to pursue. And so I just try to like just not give up and just show them that, hey, I'm serious.
And that's a great lens to look at it through, right? That's a great view for you to have. We do reverence our parents, our guardians, those that rear us, grandparents, uncles, and at the same time, you have to walk your own path, right? I
Mhm.
mean, Jeremiah has to reach out and walk that path that Jeremiah has made for himself. Because the
Mhm.
one thing I can tell you, young fellow, the one thing that you never want to do, you never want to have regrets, right? When
Mhm.
you are older and you're on the, the backside of a career or of your life experience, you don't want to look back, when you're 75 years young and go, hey, I wish I had have done this, or I
Mhm.
wish I had have done that. Right. And although you love your parents, guardians, family, everybody else, you still have to walk your own path.
Most
And I
definitely.
commend you for that, Jeremiah. I really do commend you for that. So who's the biggest inspiration in your life that we'll get to your heroes and idols and things like that in the business, of course, not any other kind of idol, but who are the inspirations in your life right now that are helping you through this journey?
I would say first off, my pastor, Pastor Dane, Mr. Leon and I, we talked about, he told you we came to the same church.
Yep.
I say he was someone that, throughout the years, even when he was my soccer coach back when I was in high school, was always someone that looked out for my best interest.
Hmm.
We haven't always seen eye to eye, but he was someone I looked up to as far as someone in my faith in Jesus Christ. So listening to him, he always gave me the real, but he always supported my dreams. So I would feel
Sure.
like he's a really big inspiration to me, and especially him inspiring me to basically just chasing after my acting dreams.
Absolutely. And having a person like that, right? A person of faith, and in this case, a man of God, to help you kind of navigate those things. And as you said before, you don't always see eye to eye on things, right? So you may have, someone that inspires you, but at the end of the day, you might agree to disagree, and that's okay,
Hmm.
right? That's okay because the Lord did give us free will to think as we think, right? And all He asks us is from each of us is to, thank Him and give Him the thanks and give Him the praise, right, for the gifts that we have and all of the opportunities that He's put in front of us. And there's no doubt in my mind, Jeremiah, that you are going to far exceed the blessings that God is going to put in front of you, and that you're going to be very thankful and you're going to use those gifts for the kingdom and for His praise and His glory. And I, so thank you for, being a young person that aspires to do that and keeping the faith piece inside of it, right? Because that is so, so, so important. And as we pivot from that, well, let me ask you this, Jeremiah, for the viewers. What are some of the productions that you've been in or some of the things that you've done? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so my very first play back in eighth grade. I'll get to the college stuff.
Sure.
As we're talking,
Take your time.
but
Take your time.
my very first play, it was Peter Pan.
Peter
I
Pan.
remember when I first did that play, like I knew nothing about acting, never had any training or anything like that. All I knew was that I saw my sister do it, and a year ago, I had a Bible teacher tell me, "Hey, you should go ahead and act." And I was like, I wasn't sure, but I didn't feel like I was good at anything else because I didn't really do sports or anything. So I tried it out,
Okay.
and as soon as I got on that stage, I knew that was what God called me on this earth for because
Sure.
literally it was like electrifying, like just being part of a big story that's familiar to you, wanting to connect with the audience and your scene partners. It just was everything. I played one of the lost kids
I
because
was getting ready to ask you,
yeah,
Jeremiah, were you one of the lost boys
yes I
or
was.
lost
Yes,
kids
yes I
on there?
was.
You wreaking havoc, throughout the play, running around with Peter Pan, making Captain Hook's life miserable.
Oh yeah, I was one of them. And honestly, it was one of the best roles that I've had to this day.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So as you transition from middle school, right, then you go to high school. What kind of productions did you do in high school?
So there were two that were very memorable. One was, I can't remember. It's a play you may never heard of this. It's called Haphazardly Ever After, and it was
Okay.
basically a comedy. It was about a king and a queen trying to parent their dysfunctional royal children.
Okay. All right.
So
That sounds
yeah,
like everyday life.
mhm. So I basically played a guy named Prince Slacker. So I was basically the kid that slacked off, always played, Angry Birds, essentially Angry Birds on screen on the
Okay.
stage. While I was
All
on
right.
stage, all I literally had to do was just be on my phone, and I was literally playing Angry Birds all on stage and just I just played myself, and it was just
And
hilarious.
with I'm sure with a little comic relief.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then the second one, it was Robin Hood, and this was the first time I played a villain. I was the sheriff of Nottingham.
Sheriff of Nottingham.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
All
that was
right.
more. It was also a comedic role, but being in a role that's like against the protagonist was something different for me, and it kind of gave me a little more range as an actor.
Okay.
Although I still
And
felt, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I still felt like honestly that I wasn't being challenged enough as an actor,
Sure.
but it was
Sure.
a different pace.
Okay. And so now you're all grown up, young
hmm
man, skills are being defined and refined. What have you done at the collegiate level?
So I did a play called Paradise Lost, where
Hmm.
it was about Satan coming down from heaven, being kicked out of heaven, and trying to wreak havoc, getting the revenge on God by messing with Adam and Eve. So it was basically the origin of the fall of creation. I was
Okay.
playing Jesus in the play, and the play, it wasn't really, I wouldn't say it's biblically accurate, although there's accurate things in there. My role
Sure.
was the most biblically accurate, and it was just basically a play that kind of challenged religion a bit. So I didn't fully agree with it, but as I read the script, I was intrigued by it
Sure.
because it definitely asked a lot of questions about religion and faith. And my role was kind of like really the peaceful side of everything, because the way how they portray God is kind of this angry Old Testament person that's just mad
Sure.
that Adam and Eve are going to rebel and stuff. And I'm kind of
Absolutely.
like the mediator, but like, hey, they're just humans. You should give them grace and stuff like that. And
Absolutely.
there was a line in the play where there's a scene where I'm talking to God basically, and I'm saying, hey, I'm going to sacrifice myself for them, you know, because I know that they're going to sin eventually. So I decided to sacrifice myself. And God's like, no, don't do that. I'm like, why not? I suffer
Right.
just like you and stuff like that. So I just felt like that was a pivotal scene. It's one of my favorite scenes. And that kind of, as for my faith, it kind of just enlightened that. And that's what I really loved about it.
Sure. That's and I'm sure that had its moments, right? It had it very in-depth, deep moments
hmm
because you're talking about Genesis, right?
hmm
That that's where we are. We're in Genesis. We're with the Garden of Eden. And we're with the command that that God actually gave Adam, and and then the devil, or the adversary, if you will, however the play was portrayed,
hmm
got to Eve, and had Eve work through Adam, and then now you have admatic sin as we know it today, right?
Yep.
So I'm sure that was an awesome play, and if you ever have a link to that, send it to me, and I'll have the producers add it in, and because I'm sure that was quite insightful. But
You
let's
mean a
switch.
link to like to watch the play?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a link that was, if it's viewable or things like that, I'd love to help you and share it on my Instagram or on my LinkedIn or things like that, because you know supporting young people like you is important to me, and it's important to the people that I affiliate with. So, but moving to a different topic, um, P Diddy,
Oh my gosh. Here we
P
go.
Diddy, right?
hmm
And I'm sure I'm probably the age of parents and grandparents that that you've been around your life and things like that. So we grew up in the '90s on Bad Boy Records and all that music and things like that. But the question that I want to ask you, Jeremiah, before we go to break, is what is the role and the responsibility of individuals like P. Diddy or R. Kelly or Bill Cosby? What is their role and responsibility of being a part of our culture, asking our community to support them with their with their monies and things like that, do they have a responsibility to be men and women of integrity, to have high morals and values? What do you think?
I know no person is perfect, but I feel like as someone with the reach that you have, since you reach millions and even billions of people, what you preach out there, people are going to expect that you follow that. You know what I'm saying? And since you influence a lot of people, what you do, people are going to follow it. Especially if you're in music and you're and whatever you're talking about, people are going to follow that. And since a lot of people look up to you, they would kind of expect that you do have some type of standard. And I know for most of the world, they don't expect you to be Christian, but at least
Sure.
be a stand-up citizen. You know what I mean?
Sure. And you say that, and you're so right. And somebody, a young person like yourself, you all, and I'm talking about young people, think differently than when I was young, right? Because you have so much more access to, social media, to the internet, and I believe, this is my opinion, right? My view, that your generation is more knowledgeable in certain aspects than we were growing up. And that is to you all's advantage. And I would say to you, Jeremiah, to continue to be as thoughtful and as mindful as you are, because I can tell by just having this short conversation with you right now in front of our viewers that you are going to be someone that is going to not only be inspired, but inspire others. And I think that that's fabulous. But Jeremiah, stay with me, right? I got to go pay some bills, and we're going to go to a short break here. But before we do, I always want to make sure that I say that all the work that is being done on my show, the graphics and everything that you see done on my show, is being done by the Leon Thomas Group interns. And as you see on the screen there, you can reach out to Leon Thomas at the leonthomasgroup.com to get all the information that Leon can share with you about young people that we use for our show. And they do so many things, and they make me look, like a real professional. And I've only been doing this for like 2 years. But also the Leon Thomas Radio Network. You can see my show from the 80s View on there as many times as you want to, because Leon Thomas and his staff have made that possible. And again, you can see this show and other shows at the leonthomasgroup.com, and you'll enjoy it. Trust me, because there's a talented group of people in the Leon Thomas Group. And we will be right back after this break. You're watching From the AD's View. I'm your host, Dr. Cedric Brown, and we'll be right back.
Announcing the newest show from the Leon Thomas Group, Cooking with Kids in the Kitchen.
Each week, we're going to have kids on the show in their home kitchen, showing us their culinary expertise right here on Cooking with Kids in the Kitchen. If you know of a kid that would be great to have on Cooking with Kids in the Kitchen, contact Leon Thomas with the Leon Thomas Group.
His email address is leon@theleonthomasgroup.com.
That's leon@theleonthomasgroup.com.
Cooking with Kids in the Kitchen.
At Rod's Car Repairs, we work on all cars, old cars, new cars, and your car. Car Repairs by Rod.io.
Baked by Brianna has been your Baltimore hometown bakery since 1969. Located in Roxton Plaza, Baked by Brianna. Visit bakedbybrianna.io.
Well, hi, everybody. This is your announcer, Biff Bergman, speaking for Farmer John. Farmer John luncheon sausage and Farmer John luncheon meat. Either way, Farmer John is easternmost in flavor and westernmost in taste. You can purchase all Farmer John products at your tri-state area Mike's Meat Market. Go to mikesmeatmarket.com. Mike's Meat Market and Farmer John. What a double play combination.
Hi, it's Robin from LTG Radio reminding you that the holiday shopping season is just a few months away. But you don't have to wait until December to start your shopping. You can do it now by going to Why Wait? Shop Now. .biz. That's why wait. Shop now. .biz. There's no need to wait. Go to why wait. Shop now. .biz. Start now on that Christmas shopping list. And now back to more LTG Radio.
I'm Leon Thomas with the Leon Thomas Group. Podcast, virtual events, webinars, streaming shows, and so much more. We want to be your partner in all things virtual.
Welcome back. You're watching From the 80s View. I'm your host, Dr. Cedric Brown. And before we bring back our guest, Mr. Jeremiah Catoe, we're going to talk a little bit about my book. And before I get deep into it, I want to thank everyone that has supported my book. It was one of the top 400 books being sold when it first came out on Amazon.com. And as you can see there, the title is How Black Men Overcome Racial Barriers and the Status Quo and NCAA Institutions, a narrative inquiry, which means I just had an opportunity to sit down with my mentors and those that wanted to support what I was doing with the research. And again, we came out with three main themes, which I think are very important in the research that was being done, but also just important in life in general, right? Benefits of having a role model. How important is it to have a role model, not only in your career, but in your life, right? My guest Jeremiah and I talked about someone that was in his life, his pastor, right? Pastors can be mentors. The role model's expectations. What are the expectations that someone that you're looking up to has over you in the career that you are going into? And so I was speaking to men that had either served as ADs at Power 5, now Power 4 institutions, or were aspiring to do the same thing that I was. And then last, how were we able to, or how were they able to deal with perceived or real racial barriers? And the one thing that I really love about this research and how it came to fruition is that it was looked at from a positive standpoint. What were the positive influences that helped them get over or overcome the barriers, perceived or real, in order for them to succeed and get to where they were at? So if you want to read the book, and I do suggest that you pick it up, because it is a great read, especially for young people that are aspiring to go into athletic administration, and young men of color, young women of color, any type of aspiration to get there. Hopefully this book can help you. And again, you can purchase it at Amazon.com. And the title again is How Black Men Overcome Racial Barriers and the Status Quo in NCAA Institutions, Narrative Inquiry. For more about From the 80s View, you can go to my YouTube channel, which is, my call sign is at From the 80s View. And you'll see it also at as Dr. Cedric M. Brown. If you do that, if you'd like to see past episodes, please go to my YouTube channel at From the 80s View. And if you'd like to email me, you can email me at fromthe80sview@gmail.com. And as I said before, early in the show, that I am a part of the Leon Thomas Radio Network. And you can go to the leonthomasgroup.com to find myself and more of my colleagues that are a part of the Leon Thomas Group, because they do such a wonderful job. And you go to that website and you hit the click listen live link, and then you can see many of my past shows. From the 80s View will be seen live at 7:05 Central, 8:05 Eastern, 6:05 in Mountain Time. And you can see more open and honest topics and guests that will share their views as well as me sharing mine. Let's bring back our guest, Mr. Jeremiah Catoe. Jeremiah, we're going to finish out this show pretty strong, man. We're going to talk about, you said that you're going to be an actor. You're going to be, on big screen. You're going to do some stage. So I think that you're going to be a Tony Award winner. You're going to be an Academy Award winner, but also we're going to have you're going to be a Grammy Award winner because you like music as well. You say you do a little bit of rapping. I'm sure that means that you write your own lyrics and things like that. But let's talk about comedians, right? Because we have Chris Rock, we have Kevin Hart, we have Dave Chappelle, we have, those are the icons, right? And let me ask you, what did you think about the incident between Will Smith and Chris Rock?
Well, I want to first preface saying that Will Smith is my favorite actor of all time. He's definitely my biggest acting inspiration. I remember when that thing happened, I was watching the Oscars. It was my sophomore year of college. Literally, when I first saw it, I thought it was staged and it was some joke. But as soon as they cut off the audio, I was like, okay, this is for real. And I see him yelling. Like, I was torn. Like, low key at first, I was defending him. But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, I know what he did was wrong. Because as much as I like Will Smith, he was wrong for that. I had forgiven him, even though I wasn't wrong. I'm not sure if Chris Rock is going to forgive him, but I'm not mad at Chris Rock because, he's a comedian, so that's what he does. Even though he did hurt Jada Pickett's feelings and stuff like that, but if people go back and watch that, and someone on YouTube, I don't know who it was, pointed it out, and I think it was also my professor. Will Smith was laughing at the joke. He was laughing at the joke.
He did.
Until he saw that Jada Pinkett was mad.
Oh yeah.
He probably felt like, I need to do something.
Oh yeah. So, I agree with you. And when you become a spouse, you will, and again, not defending the violence, not defending anything like that, right? Because there's alternative ways to handle situations like that, and violence is never the key. Right. Especially for us. Right. Because when we get to those situations, we have more to lose than that situation, that standalone event. Right. And so when Jada was giggling and smiling over there until she wasn't. And as soon as she wasn't, and her husband saw that she wasn't, then he went into full on protector mode. And the thing about it is, what people don't realize is Jada, Chris, and Will are friends. I mean, like true friends. And they've probably had Jonan sessions and all kinds of things sitting around the house and stuff like that. It's just that it was, I guess, Will and Jada thought it wasn't funny, because I mean, if he was on stage and he told that G.I. Jane joke, even though she has, some issues with her skin and things like that. That's what comedians do. They tell jokes, right? Sometimes they go a little bit, too far, but they're jokes, right? That's just like, the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef,
Oh
right?
man, yeah.
Did Kendrick Lamar kill Drake or what? I mean, or do you think the
Oh
other way?
no. He completely destroyed him. Like I was literally following up the whole thing. Like Meet the Grams was probably the most diabolical diss I've ever heard in my life. Not
Right,
Like Us was just dancing on his grave. And then
right.
Drake tried to literally clap back, but it wasn't strong enough. Like the
Not
beginning was
strong
good,
enough
but
at
then the
all.
rest he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm not this, I'm not that. I didn't do it." Like he was trying to defend himself, but it didn't go well. So like, yeah,
Right. So, and I don't know if you've ever seen the movie 8 Mile.
I have.
So you saw 8 Mile, right? So
Mhm.
when Bunny, aka Eminem,
Yeah.
right? When he goes in and he just goes off on himself and he takes all the material away from the other rapper, right? I
Mhm.
think that Drake tried to do the same thing, but it
Didn't work.
didn't work
Mhm.
because Kendrick Lamar ate him for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and
Mhm.
so I get it. So if you ever, when you get there and you ever have a beef with the the your rival, whoever that is, right? And I just know that your lyrics are gonna be so hard that you'll put them to bed real quick,
Well,
like
hopefully that won't happen, but if it
your boy
does,
Steph Curry, you're gonna put him to bed real quick.
yeah.
I see you. I see you. So, hey, if well, before we let you go, I do ask all of my guests this one question, Jeremiah. What does faith or spiritualness mean to you?
Faith means a relationship with God. Faith means trusting in Him, even when things don't seem that they're going your way,
Right.
when you seem lost.
Right.
So I know I wouldn't be here without God. Without God, I'd probably be lost, honestly. There's been a lot of roadblocks in my journey so far, but,
Right.
He's been faithful. I haven't always been faithful, but have any of us all have been faithful every time?
Right.
No.
Right.
So I see God as the only person that can get me where I need to be when everything else, just doesn't work. So I thank God for that.
And I appreciate that, Jeremiah, because you're so right, man. He's faithful when we are not, right?
Mhm,
And he loves us when we feel like we shouldn't be loved. But
mhm.
that's why he is our savior. And that's why he is who he is, and that's why we owe him what we do and all the
Right.
praise and glory to him. So Jeremiah, viewers are going to be interested in you and they're going to want to know more about you. How can they get in contact with you?
Good question. There are two ways. First is my Instagram. My Instagram is Jeremiah_Catoe02. It's Jeremiah_Catoe02. And my email. My email is jec0219@icloud.com. So any of those two ways, if you want to reach out, hit up, want to chat, I'm open.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to thank you, Jeremiah. I think that you are a wonderful young man. You are going to do a lot of great things. The only thing I ask is when you get famous and you have all of the premieres and everything like that, when Doc B calls you, I don't need nothing from you. All I want to do is get on the red carpet so I can wear my little swag that I have, my little drip that I can wear that, a little bit and come
I'll start
support you
making a list of
in every
names of
way.
everybody. Hey, all right, man. All right, man. Bet.
I
I'm
will
to start
be
making
there.
a
I
list.
promise you. I will be there. Whether it's at a premiere for your first album, whether it's a premiere for your first on-screen appearance, or if it's something, if you're on Broadway doing something on stage, you let me know and I will get there. If it works in my schedule, or I'll move some stuff around because I think that you're an amazing young man and you're going to do amazing things. And the one thing that I get is that I had the exclusive to talk to Jeremiah Catoe right here on From the 80s View. And we'll be able to look back on it and say, back then we knew that this young man was going to be hot on the in our culture, on the scene. So I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as I say all the time, thank my guests for being here this evening on From the 80s View. The one thing that I really, really want to make sure that people are aware of is, in this world of we have 37 days until the election, right? And it doesn't matter who you vote for, whether you are a Democrat, whether you're independent, whether you're a Republican. The one thing that you got to think about is just be kind to people. Be kind. You can agree to disagree. You can have different points of view. You can have different points of political points of view, and that's okay. But be kind to one another, right? Because at the end of the day, we all bleed the same. We're human beings, and we are countrymen and countrywomen in the United States. And we all have to be governed by the same laws. We all have to, fall under the same rules and regulations and policies. And the only thing that I say is, believe in the persons that you believe in, regardless, like I said, of what political affiliation you are, but be kind to one another. And that's all I have to say about that. You're watching From the 80s View. I'm your host, Dr. Cedric Brown. Good night and God bless.